structure in an hour and a half, 1 hour and a half. And that will be they'll be able to lift that entire roof structure onto the house when the time comes. Just a good example. Back to you.
Thank you, Peter. And just to round off what Nasir and Peter have said, I need to answer your question in terms of durability. Don't take our word for it. Go check it out for yourself. The Padmanabhan Palace in near Kanyakumari. That's a proof and a testimony of how durable wood can be or is. So that's a couple of centuries old, if not more. So just have a look at it, and I think that answers your question on the durability part. Thank you.
I can see your hand raised from editor at India CSR. Would you like to please ask your question? There is a question. He has raised his hand from editor of India CSR.
Yeah, who are your target customers? The segment, the middle class, the capitalist class, and the emerging economies.
So I'd like to take that question and answer that. As it is wont to be, whenever you start anything new, especially new materials, new technology, anything new in Apple, it doesn't start at the bottom, it starts at the top. So everything starts rolling from top down, it starts cascading, and that's exactly what is going to happen as far as moving houses in India are concerned. It will definitely be initially a kickoff from the HNIs and the resorts in the hospitality sector, I would say. So from there it will percolate down as the technology becomes more commonplace. There are more people available to build it. There are more people available to do what is necessary in terms of assembling skill sets locally. So that will drive the cost down and make it, I would say, far more economical than when you are starting off. So as and when that happens, it will become more and more affordable for society lower down the pyramid.
One more important question is, in India, people are against the cutting tree. There is a psychology not using so many houses. People are not using discouraging the use of the wooden furnitures.
I'm very happy to ask this question.
It would be, your project would be against their psychology. How you will address this psychology, not using the wood in the building?
Yeah, that's I would say a wrong perception which needs to be corrected over a period of time. We will succeed. We are already doing a lot of education on this part, and I would perhaps here try and put it in as short a sentences as possible by saying that like anything else, forests do need healthy trees, and for a forest to thrive and survive and grow, it needs healthy trees. And as the trees grow older, their capacity to suck in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen reduces. So it is important that to keep the forest young and healthy, you need to have regeneration of forests. New trees have to come and old trees have to go. And exactly that is what is happening through sustainable forest management, where you just don't rampantly go and do the logging in the forest. You do it selectively, carefully, responsibly, and sustainably. To just give you an example how we do it in Canada is that before a forest is logged, you are going into the forest and collecting seeds from the forest, which is shortly going to be logged. And those seeds are brought into a nursery. And the seeds are germinated, and once these saplings have started to grow in the pots, they go and log the forest. And once the forest is logged, the saplings from the tree, from the seed already collected from the same forest, are taken back and planted in those forests. That is one of the ways to keep the forest evergreen and not deplete. The other thing which we do to ensure that the forest always stay healthy and keep growing. Incidentally, before I go on to the next thing, despite Canada being the leading exporter of lumber in the world, we have had almost zero deforestation in the last 3 decades. And that's because one of the important steps the Canadian government has taken, which owns 95% of the forest in Canada, is that you plant 3 trees for every single tree you have harvested. So that is another part of it. The other is that you do not just randomly cut forests night and day. You take a decision that I will cut only 1% of my forest every year or 2% of my forest every year, which is manageable for me to ensure that I am taking right measures and implementing those measures into a sustainable forest management. So these are the things which need to be understood and the story told to the people that the media can play a very responsible role in doing this actually. And informing the people that forests have to stay healthy. You have to have young, healthy trees in the forest, number one. You have to have sustainable forest management practices. You have to also join hands with the independent international bodies like PEFC and FSC, which go and certify your forests, whether they are sustainably managed or not, whether they are healthy or not, whether they are the measures are being taken to maintain the forest and grow the forest or not. So Canada happens to also be the world's leader in terms of, and leader by a very, very wide margin. I think the nearest country to come close to Canada is 50% of Canada's total forest certification. So that tells you a story about how sustainably forestry can be done. Trees can be logged, lumber can be made, and yet the forest can continue to grow.
Any special reason to choosing the Hyderabad as a location for this project?
Yes, Mr. Dr. Nasir Ali Khan. It is one of the very big reasons for us to choose this. Please understand that one can take a horse to the water, but we cannot force it to drink. So, going by that, I mean, you need to join hands with people who have vision and who are willing to stick their neck out when nobody else is doing it. You know, and Dr. Nasir Ali Khan decided after a quick visit with his team to Vancouver, and he saw for himself what possibilities existed, how things were being done. And he came back and took this decision that yes, I would like to go ahead and do it. So we were happy to respond. If there would have been somebody else in place of Dr. Nasir Ali, we would have done the same thing. But as I said, it's the first mover advantage. So that's how we are here with the BPL wings and projects.
I'd like to come in for a minute, this is one of the finest and one of the best decisions I've taken in my life as a businessman. And the other thing is I find out the best possible partner in terms of legality. Like I said, since we're getting to sustainable housing, it's not just good housing. We have to source food from a reliable, legal, and sustainable quality. That's one reason we have gone with FII, Canada Wood. And other thing is their experience. I don't think any other agency has the kind of experience they have in this area. Actually, we have a lot of experience in housing. We are into housing in a very big way, but we have very little experience. And I think we should have done this long time back. After visiting Vancouver, I realized that it's already too late actually. Not just for me as a builder, for the industry, for the country, for everybody. I think the problems we are facing because of the climate change are very serious, and they sometimes can be sleepless nights, to be honest. You know, I might not be there for a long time, but we have to leave a better world for our next generation, for our children and grandchildren. We don't own this resources, we are just custodians. The money is ours, but the resources are not, so we have to really take care and manage the resources. I'm so happy to be in this. It's not just this is a social responsibility also for me. It's not just sustainability, it's sustainability, the social responsibility. Thank you, Pranesh, for the kind word for me.
Thank
So next question is from Mr. Paniraj. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I have a few questions. To start with, when do you expect this project to be completed? I understand MAC is planning to come out with 300 villas made of wood. So what is the timeline that you are looking at, and what will be the total investment that will go into this project?
Before Dr. Vilasarima answers how many villas he will have to what time, I can say with certainty that this villa should be ready in 6 months' time, fully completed and open to public to come and see.
Actually, we have a provision to build custom built homes. See, out of our 1,000 plots, we have a provision to build 1,050 acres. We've only built 333 so far. That's the number we built. Now we have a provision to build another 700. So we have a lot of inquiries, but we are not really signing up any contracts with anybody so far, because we would like to finish this pilot project. We're going with the FII, it's going fine, and should be ready in another couple of months. So once it's ready by December, then we take a decision on commercial decision on number of houses, the size of house, and the size of units and number of units. Actually, this house is on 1,500 square feet, which is about 1,500 square yards of land, and a built-up area of 6,000 square feet. This is a luxury good house. So we would, like when he said in the beginning, it's like this is like the electric car of housing. So the people who went to one for Tesla, the kind of people the higher HNIs. So we start with that, but now since it's becoming very popular, I think with the government support, I think we can go a lot of housing with this, because there needs to be incentive from the government. Which government is coming forward. I think some of the state governments have already started working with it. And Telangana, as you know, is the first mover in everything. Our Minister for Municipal Education and Urban Development, State Ramarao, is a visionary, very dynamic. I had a couple of meetings with him. I discussed in detail actually, and he's very, very keen to provide incentives to this industry with government incentives. And I think we are also looking at some incentives as an industry from Government of India. GST is one exemption. If we can get that, that would be a very, very big advantage. The GST is 18% and contracts, so then the prices will also be very competitive, and we can compete also. Right now, we're not looking at competing. We are competitive. We have a better alternative. We are a little more expensive because of various reasons, but in the long term, I think we'll catch up. Now, coming back to your question of investment and number of villas, we'll take that call in January when we're ready with the final report. Thank you very much.
What would be the estimated cost of each villa, and how does it compare to any conventional housing?
This is a highly subsidized project by Canadian Group, so I really don't know the costing so much. This is being worked out as a joint venture. Government of British Columbia is subsidizing this project by 50%. All the material what you've seen has come from Canada, and they have supplied this material at a very highly discounted price. Some of it has come free of cost. So we really not worked on the costing with this project. But I think Peter will be able to answer, and he should be able to answer in terms of percentages. Because different technologies pricing will be different for different technologies. So I think Peter or Pranish will be able to answer this better than me.
I guess it's a bit premature at this stage to be able to put a number to as to exactly what is the cost of this villa going to be. I would request you to have a little more patience with us. Give us time till about January, February, when the villa is nearing completion. We'll be able to put together all the cost factors together and come up with a number for you.
Okay, one last question and one technical question for me. From a life cycle point of view, have you conducted any tests that houses that are built made of wood? What typically has been the life cycle of that kind of product, and anything on the quality testing or anything on the life cycle of it?
So I just mentioned in my speaking to the press earlier was that one of the greatest examples of structure in India is the Padmanabhapuram Palace near Kanyakumari. That's centuries old. It stands tall and proud and is probably one of the most well-preserved wooden buildings, not only in India but in Asia, and probably one of the most well-preserved buildings in the world. But having said that, we have a lot of houses which are more than a century old, standing still, tall, proud, and in use by the families who own them in North America. In fact, if you will go to other Western countries like Australia, Finland, out in the countryside, you will find many houses which date back to the previous century and people still living in them and enjoying life. These are very durable. These are built not randomly but with a lot of science and techniques go behind making of these wooden houses. In fact, there are building codes in place in the Western countries where building with wood is very common. And those codes have to be very strictly followed so that you are not only be able to take care of the wind load factor and then where the snow load factor is also very important in countries where it snows. And also the other natural elements like the rain and heat, etc. are taken care of. So I would say they are very, very durable. They can last, if not centuries, I would say really a man's lifetime. Yes.
Many examples, Pranesh, many examples in North America and other wood frame countries of houses standing 100 years. So no problem guaranteeing any new house that we build for 60 years. You know, with